We're live.
Thank you. This is the Executive Cabinet member decision-making meeting for regulatory services with licensing, for property and land, and also for contracting and procurement, and the budgets that go with those services. Everybody's welcome. Thanks very much. The first item on the agenda is the monitoring report of decisions. Ian Mulholland, Democratic Services Deputy Manager.
Yes.
Do you want to say anything to this? I've got a couple of points.
Just to say it's been updated as best as it can, and Andrew has done a great job in making sure that happens, and it was sent round to follow, so it was after the agenda. So I've nothing else to add now.
Oh, thank you for that. Yes, I'd like to thank the officers that keep this up to date, and just about 4 items just to mention to members. The first is that on page 3, moved up on this list now is disability awareness and safeguarding training for the licensing industry. And as you scroll down on the right hand columns, we look at, I think that says 14, 11, 23. And that just says it continues to be rolled out across the industry. And obviously where we're up to on that, because it's been on there a long time, is for review with licensing. And then we just need to whiz down to page 5, and we get to SAMP, Strategic Asset Management Plan Phase 1. And just to say that there's just been an update on that for 244 Chorley New Road, Horwich, and it just mentions the asset of community value position and just states that currently the council is unable to proceed with the sale. Then we move on to the next item under that, actually, which is SAMP, Strategic Asset Management Plan Phase 2. And the update there, your updates are in the right-hand column. 1 asset has been sold in October 2023. 12 assets remain outstanding and are forecast for sale during financial year 24-25. And then from memory, I think there's just 1 more, and we've got to scroll down that I want to draw your attention to. I'm grateful that everybody looks at this for the updates. I'm just going to scroll to page 10. I'm nearly there. Sorry about the delay. Nearly there. Where are we? So it is the last one. Sorry to take your time up. Here we are. It's just SAMP community asset transfers, and this is a recent decision. Well, it's phase 2. Actually, it's not my decision. It's December 2022, but it's got some commentary on cats in it, and it does actually in the right hand column. That's the follow-on activity. It mentions my decision, 52 Washacre in West Horton. That's now a community asset transfer, and it notes there feedback sessions with the bidders are being progressed, and it does tell you that the remaining cats community asset transfers will go forward. I just want to mention that always what we do relates to workload of services. We have to prioritise monthly. That's what the officers do, and also that work includes the new operational process. Okay, can I ask members, is there anything, or anybody else, is there anything you want to say, question, or give a view on this? Councillor Flitcroft, please.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to ask, I've noticed looking through the report that ZACS isn't mentioned specifically in the report, where it has been on previous reports. It's the actual word ZACS has been mentioned. Can I ask where does this fall now? Because it doesn't jump out at me.
Does Andrew Williamson, who's our Assistant Director, do you want to give a view, please, Andrew?
Surely, yes. So regarding ZACS Community Centre, we intend to bring a separate matter to the Executive Cabinet Member, Councillor Howarth, to review in consideration of potentially moving the property off the CAT list, and to rescind the decision based on the circumstances within within Kersley. So that's something that we're actively progressing. It will be subject to a separate report that we would like to bring forward for consideration by Councillor Howarth and this committee.
Thank you. Chair, I just have one more question, if that's all right.
Can I give
Thank
her
you.
just, Maureen, can I just give you one sentence at the end of Zach's, which is to note that we have a newly elected councillor in Kersley. So I would be grateful if you could feedback. I will endeavour to remember this, that could the councillor please, Councillor Wilkinson, have a briefing of where we're up to with Zach's in Kersley, that building. Is that all right?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. Sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay. Just one more. This is also Kersley as well. It's about the older bank sites. The report says that evaluation report is due in November. Is that available yet?
Mr. Williamson, do you want to
Andrew.
give any feedback?
No, that's fine. It's a perfectly good question. Unfortunately, I don't have the answer to that, but I will go away and check that with the officer team.
Okay, thank you. That's everything. Thank you, Chair.
Should we send out an email if we've got a few sentences on that, and shall we copy all the members in who come to this meeting? Should we do that?
Yes, that's fine, Councillor Howarth. If Andrew sends me that, I'll do that.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Can I just check, is there anybody else who's got any comments or questions on the monitoring report? No. Okay. The next item on the agenda is the first finance report of two. We've got the corporate directorate budget report Q2, and Mrs. Janet Pollard, who's a senior officer for finance. I'll ask you to speak to the report. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Councillor Howarth. So this report is the Q2 finance report for the whole of the Corporate Resources Directorate. The Directorate is anticipating a positive year-end variance of £75,000 at the end of the year. For the services that fall under this portfolio, it's anticipated that an end-of-year balance will be it'll be a balanced position this year. The key financial findings can be found on page 3, and service-specific findings can be found on page 11, which is Appendix A. The Executive Cabinet member is asked to note the contents of the report and also to approve the recommendations in section 11. And I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Janet. Can I ask if any members have any comments or questions on this finance report at all today? Okay, if you please, use the raise your hand facility, but if you need to, just speak into the microphone if there's any issue at any time. So I'm just scrolling down the report to have a look at items that on this budget, of course, these are property items. Obviously, I've got highlighted matters that fall under property under here. There's nothing I particularly want to comment on myself, other than to say I'm across the detail, and I'm actually scrolling all the way down to the bottom that gives the decisions that I want to make. So the recommendations to myself are to note the Q2 financial position of this budget report, to approve revisions, to the capital programme which fall under this portfolio, and those are there for you to see in the different tables about capital receipts and the capital finance and so on. Authorise the Director of Corporate Resources to call off under any available frameworks to enable the capital programme to progress, and note the key findings of the report. So thanks very much for that, Janet.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the finance report for Place Services, the Directorate of Place. This is Q2. And Mrs. Pollard, Janet, Senior Finance Officer, please, if you want to speak to the report. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Councillor Howarth. So this is the Q2 finance report for the whole of the Directorate of Place. The Directorate is currently projecting an overspend of £698,000 by the end of the financial year. The services that fall underneath this portfolio are projecting a year-end balance of £7,000. The key financial findings can be found on page 3, and service-specific findings can be found on page 16, which is Appendix B. The Executive Cabinet member is asked to note the contents of the report and also to approve the recommendations in section 11. I'm happy to take any questions.
Do any members or any others want to say anything about this report or raise questions at all? Okay, nobody is indicating at the moment. So as you go through this report, you can see the items on a number of small tables as to what relates to regulatory services and property. I'm just whizzing down to the part of the report towards the end. Sorry about this. It might be right at the end. Yes, it is after the big tables. And it's got, or I'll go back to the front, forgive me. I don't know why I'm doing this. Okay. Right, the recommendations for me are to note the Q2 financial position of the Directorate of Place. Now it says approve revisions made to the capital programme which fall under this portfolio. Now, some of you will note the 0 columns, so I don't actually have to do approval or authorisation of matters. Well, I can authorise if there were matters. Sorry about this, I just want to check that got this. Yeah, I'm in the right place. Yeah. Okay, so it says authorise the director to call off under any available frameworks as required, but that relates to a capital programme. There aren't items for my services really for capital programme. And then to note the key findings of the report, which I'm happy to do.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much indeed. The next item we have on this agenda is one that's been judged by the monitoring officer to be private and confidential, a Part B paper, which we accept that. This can happen sometimes. So can I ask Ian Mulholland to end the tape, please, of this meeting, and we'll go into Part B. Oh, thanks very much. Yeah.
Just 1 second.